of Zimbabwe commends sisterly nations of SADC for designating this crucial day to unequivocal nations join Zimbabwe in the sonorous call to remove the heinous sanctions without any further hesitation at all. Remove illegal economic sanctions now. Long live Zimbabwe. Long live SADC. Long live Pan-Africanism. Long live the progressive world.
Pick Pink and help TM Pick and Pay support breast cancer awareness. This time check is brought to you by TM Pick and Pay.
We're broadcasting live from our Montreux studios in Bulawayo. Good evening and welcome to the main news. I'm Marilyn Gwenya. Peaceway Zomunyika is interpreting the bulletin in sign language. Later on, we will be joined by Vicky and Joyce from our Pocketsville studios in Harare for more news. But for now, let's take a look at the headlines. ZANU-PF First Secretary and President, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, calls for transformative policies. He was addressing thousands of delegates at the official opening of the ZANU-PF Annual National People's Conference in Bulawayo this Friday. An e-petition was signed in Bulawayo as Zimbabwe amplifies calls for the lifting of sanctions. In business, Harare exhausts its allocated capacity for the Starlink satellite internet service. And later on in sports news, the Warriors technical department assembles a young squad to take part in the CHAN qualifiers. Those are our headlines for tonight. Let's take a look at our leading story. ZANU-PF First Secretary and President, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, says the party is a result-oriented political institution, hence the need to continually sharpen its policies and strategies to deliver on the needs of the people. Our first report from Sifiso Sibanda.
Mnangagwa officially opened the ZANU-PF Annual National People's Conference in Bulawayo this Friday, encouraging party members to preserve the gains of the liberation struggle and focus on projects that uplift the living standards of the people in line with Vision 2030.
We are a party of results, hence the need to continually sharpen our party policies. Strategies in this regard must remain robust and people-centered. Therefore, the conference has the obligation to recommit our party to deepening grassroots engagement and mobilization for both party building and scaling up production and productivity, as well as the implementation of various projects across the country. Challenges affecting our country, including illegal sanctions and the climate change, should never limit our endeavor. Step by step, brick upon brick, and stone upon stone, we are realizing the mission, the aims and objectives of our colossal ZANU-PF party, and consolidating the gains of our hard-working values, our national unity, and our peace.
The president noted that the land remains the backbone of the country's economy, as it was one of the grievances that led to the liberation struggle.
The land was one of the key grievances that saw us wage a protracted and a brutal war of liberation. It is more than a store of wealth and a symbol of identity. Our God-given land is a perpetual inheritance for both the current and the future generations, which we will continue to jealously safeguard and protect under ZANU-PF. To ensure the security of tenure, therefore, a new land tenure policy has been adopted by government for the beneficiaries of the land reform program, including war veterans, the youth and women.
President Mnangagwa said the economy is on a growth path, with the mining sector being the key driver.
The resilience of the mining sector is evident through the realization of 84% capacity utilization in the 2024, with an expected jump to 90% in 2024-2025, despite low commodity prices. The sector is contributing 75% of our country's exports and 80% of GDP. Gold output, especially from artisanal and small-scale miners, has been growing month on month, and the government is periodically reviewing incentives in the sector for the realization of a win-win benefits.
On the political front, ZANU-PF First Secretary noted the representation of special interest groups at the conference, saying it confirms that it is an inclusive indaba.
In oneness, under the enduring spirit of comradeship, we continue defending our party of Zimbabwe's liberation, freedom, and independence. We are making sure that under our watch, as this generation of leaders, our ZANU-PF party is in safe hands. ZANU-PF and the people of Zimbabwe are one. We are singing one national anthem, flying one national flag, and working hard towards the attainment of our national vision 2030 for the prosperity, modernization, industrialization, and development of our beloved motherland, Zimbabwe.
He further challenged all wings to grow the membership of the party and adhere to the principles of discipline and loyalty. Sifiso Spanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Senior ZANU-PF party members have applauded the visionary leadership of President Emmerson Mnangagwa, whose government has spearheaded massive developmental projects in the country.
Bulawayo was the place to be this Friday during the official opening of the ZANU-PF Annual National People's Conference. The ruling party's second secretaries and vice presidents, General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga and Comrade Kembo Mohadi, gave credit to Comrade Mnangagwa for setting the country on a developmental trajectory.
Our conference theme, industrialize and modernize towards the attainment of Vision 2030, resonates well with the Second Republic's efforts towards achieving the vision of His Excellency, the President. This brings to fore the pivotal role of innovation and industrialization for sustained socio-economic transformation and development. Our guest of honor is on record for stating that Vision 2030 will be achieved way ahead of schedule. It is therefore instructive that we use the platform of this conference to come up with resolutions that spur industrialization and leapfrog our economic trajectory towards modernization.
ZANU-PF family wishes to express their support as you discharge of your mandate of providing SADC with the necessary policy direction during your term. These conflicts of the vital responsibility of our party providing direction and oversight over government operations and functions. As ZANU-PF, we acknowledge the successes achieved under your leadership. As delegates, we wish the level of progress in different sectors of our economy should continue for us to attain our goal for an upper middle income economy much earlier than the year 2030.
ZANU-PF National Chairperson Comrade Opa Muchinguri Kashiri implored party members to rally behind the party's revolutionary agenda towards the attainment of Vision 2030.
Through unity, peace, and development, you have charmed and inspired Zimbabweans to rally behind your development philosophy, summed up in the Second Republic's brand mantra, Nyika inowakwa, igotongwa, nekunamatibwa, newe newayo.
The 21st ZANU-PF National People's Conference is a platform for sound deliberations and resolutions on government policy to transform the lives of the citizenry. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Representatives of various organizations that include the church, diplomatic community and empowerment groups have expressed solidarity with the ZANU-PF and its inclusive development agenda. We'll bring you that report a little bit later on into the bulletin. And now in our following report, Southern African Development Community Chairperson, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, has signed the e-petition that is rallying behind Zimbabwe in pushing for the removal of illegal sanctions imposed on the country by the West.
2024 marks 5 years since the SADC region united with one voice in calling for the lifting of the illegal embargo that has stifled Zimbabwe's economic growth since the turn of the millennium. President Emmerson Mnangagwa, who is also the SADC chairperson, led proceedings by appending his signature to the e-petition that was signed by Politburo members this Tuesday as a reflection of unity against the embargo. Addressing delegates, the SADC chairperson expressed gratitude to regional member states and friendly nations who continue to stand with Zimbabwe in the face of harsh treatment by the West, hindering Zimbabwe's attainment of Vision 2030 and the African Union Agenda 2063.
On behalf of the people and government of Zimbabwe, I express my profound gratitude to the SADC region, broader African continent, and other progressive countries, as well as the United Nations, who continue to stand in solidarity with us against these illegal sanctions. Your unwavering solidarity is a source of hope and resilience. Comrades, it is a well-documented fact that the unjust sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe continue to have far-reaching consequences across the strata and lives of our people.
President Mnangagwa also applauded the resilience and unity of purpose in busting the sanctions.
My fellow Zimbabweans, today we amplify our voice against the imposition of illegal sanctions by launching a digital-enabled national anti-sanctions petition program. The initiative enables citizens to digitally append their signatures on a petition to express their rejection of these sanctions through online platforms. Media houses and the practitioners, including other anti-sanctions lobby groups, are called upon to partner this initiative.
The head of state lauded research and development, innovation, and climate-proof agriculture for playing a key role in the country's growth.
Guided by the theme in the court, embracing innovation towards Vision 2030, a relentless fight against illegal sanctions and of court, let us pursue new prospects for accelerated socio-economic growth. Undoubtedly, heritage-based knowledge systems, climate-resilient agriculture, renewable energy, industrialization, advanced health care, as well as research and development are key to achieving our Vision 2030. As such, collaboration and partnerships with progressive countries should be scaled up towards building a future driven by ingenuity, new technologies, science, and research.
The SADC region is not alone in the call for the removal of sanctions. Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, says he remains concerned about the negative impact of the illegal embargo stifling Zimbabwe's socio-economic recovery efforts. Olin Ndori, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The fifth edition of the SADC Anti-Sanctions Solidarity Day has drawn attention on how the country is using the engagement and re-engagement agenda to bust the effects of the illegal embargo.
The SADC Anti-Sanctions Solidarity Day was marked in Bulawayo this Friday, with diplomats in attendance expressing their desire to help Zimbabwe and the sustained call for the removal of the illegal embargo.
All African countries, they are all have this position, solid position to support Zimbabwe against the sanctions, the imposed sanctions, and of course we wish that Zimbabwe get out of these sanctions at the earliest. Because this will help Zimbabwe to engage back again in the international community.
China also strongly supports Zimbabwe's effort to remove the illegal sanction against Zimbabwe government and Zimbabwe people. Zimbabwe adopt a mantra of open for business, friends to all, enemy to none. So China and Zimbabwe will continue to work together.
For government and the ruling ZANU-PF party, the anti-sanctions campaign is a bold statement indicating how Zimbabwe stands for the rule of law.
It's a big score, and I think this is the first in the world. It needs a medal, gold medal or platinum, because SADC is showing that we stand for the rule of law and a world that has order that is coming from the laws of the Charter of the United Nations. Therefore, our message to SADC is that let's continue like that. And at this moment, His Excellency the President Idi Mnangagwa, is the chairman of SADC, and we continue to follow the line of respecting international law.
Your Excellency, as we embrace innovation towards Vision 2030, you have achieved so much in a short space of time, despite the illegal albatross that has been condemned internationally, regionally, and domestically.
Comrade President, the continued industrial growth of Zimbabwe and infrastructure development under the tested wisdom of your political experience incessantly renders sanctions redundant and irrelevant.
As part of the anti-sanctions campaign, an electronic petition is being signed with the citizens against economic sanctions, calling on all progressive Zimbabweans and foreigners to append their signatures.
The President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Mnangagwa, has appended his signature to a petition that we are signing, all the people of Zimbabwe, regardless of political affiliation, churches, creed, color, or religion. We are all saying we are coming together to put our signature, and this petition will be delivered to the United Nations.
The anti-sanctions event was running under the theme Embracing Innovation Towards Vision 2030, the relentless fight against illegal sanctions. Lisa Masuku, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Zimbabweans took up the anti-sanctions crusade as they marched in various parts of the country to send a clear message to the United States and its Western allies on the damage of the illegal embargo.
Today, of course, marks 2036 days, and steadfast Zimbabweans are camped right here at the U.S. Embassy, where they are making that call for the removal of the economic embargo. Bearing the brunt of harsh living conditions, Priti Maseko is among many who are determined to push for the lifting of the illegal embargo.
Tane 5 years and a half tiri pano kudya kwedu isusu takadzisana mabasa emaoko atina anotipa kana vasina kutibvisira tibve nenyaya yekuti isusu doti vatibvisire zvirango zveupfumi.
The impact of sanctions has been felt by the ordinary citizen.
In my own field of IT, I find that you can't, if you go into certain websites to register something, there will be a list of countries that you have to specify where you're from. And you'll find that Zimbabwe is not on the list. See, they will not allow you to register from Zimbabwe.
The people they are aiming are well up. As individuals who cannot live a good life are the ones who are affected more.
Daitangobvisirwa masanction tisarambe tichirarama upenyu hwakaoma nekuti vana vedu vanoda kudzidza vanoda kurarama upenyu hwakanaka.
On this day, the unanimous call from Zimbabweans across the country is the demand for freedom, self-determination, and of course, being able to lead their own destiny.
In Mashonaland East Province, the march against illegal sanctions started at the Munosi Business Complex in Marondera to the town center, where various organizations called for the unconditional removal of the illegal sanctions.
SADC region yese ndo vakabatana vakaona zvakakodzera kuti nyika dzeSADC dzibatane dziti anti-sanction muZimbabwe masanctions aita sei abhiswe.
Can we speak of the children's rights, right to education, right to food, right to shelter, right to freedom of expression? The list goes on and on.
My illegal sanctions ari kutikanganisa kugara sema civil servants, vana vedu, muri dzedu nenyika yedu. Saka tiri kuti masima illegal sanctions ngabiswe unconditionally.
Masvingo province joined the rest of the country in calling for the unconditional removal of illegal sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe by the West. It was a long march in the streets of Masvingo Central Business District, calling out the United States and its Western allies for imposing the restrictive measures.
Kwete kuzvirango zveupfumi zvakatemerwa nyika yedu nenyika dzekumadokero inhau yokuti zvinotikanganisa budiriro yedu munyika.
Istauya pano semastudents mumasvingo kuzomasha tichigwa against masanction akutirayira economy yedu ari kuti kuita kuti mafizi edu akwire.
After the march, participants were addressed by the director in the office of the president and cabinet in Masvingo province, Mr. Clever Chingwara.
As we gather on this important day, we are reminded of challenges we have faced as a nation. Challenges imposed on us, not by our own doing, but by the unjust and crippling sanctions imposed by the West. But let me remind you also, my brothers and sisters, that we are a people who do not give up.
The people of Manicaland province also marched against the illegal sanctions in Rusape and Mutare.
Zvirango zveupfumi zvatitadzisa kurarama munyika yedu yeZimbabwe kudai. Saka vakaremara tiri kuti masanction ngaabviswe.
Tiri kuti masanctions akangobviswa atiri kuona kuti munhu wese anokwanisa kuendawo kubasa.
Makambani anotadza kumhanya zvakanaka nekuti mabhengi akaita semamwe ane mukurumbira kana kuti anozikanwa ari international anenge achirambidzwa kuti ashande nesu munyika munomu.
The church also added its voice on the need to remove the illegal sanctions imposed on the country by the United States and their allies.
Dai masanctions abviswa kuti budiriro yedu yemunyika ione kubudirira ichienda mberi.
Vanopedza zvikoro kumayunivhesiti kana kumakoleji asi vari kushaya mabasa. Inyaya yemasanction iri kukonzera iyoyo.
The decision by the Southern African Development Community SADC member states to set the 25th of October as the Anti-Sanctions Day has added impetus to the fight against the illegal embargo.
We now bring you that report where representatives of various organizations that include the church, diplomatic community and empowerment groups have expressed solidarity with ZANU-PF and its inclusive development agenda.
Various groups attending the 21st ZANU-PF Annual People's Conference in Bulawayo are convinced the ruling party has the people's interest at heart.
The history of our town is marked by a number of historic people that have done performances that have affected the liberation of our country. A city where discipline is enforced, where determination was the ideology of our strike, where all other weapons were used by first discipline, our ideology or self-dependency, that as a people we determine our self-destiny. This is where everything is. You come from all over the country to present the views of our people on how we built our nation and built our country so that we become better than what we were yesterday, that we improve our conditions of living, our health standard by the ideas that come from the people in this conference.
The province witnessed an upturn in the number of licensed projects by the Zimbabwe Investment and Development Agency, ZIDA, during the third quarter of 2024. These are part of the fruits of His Excellency engagement and re-engagement drive, where our diasporans and the wider world are becoming aware that Zimbabwe is indeed open for business.
Representing traditional leaders, the president of the Chiefs Council, Chief Mshane Khumalo, summed up the confidence they have in the ZANU-PF-led government.
Singakhohlwa imisebenzi emihle eziwa nguhulumende wakho kuzindawo zonke zeZimbabwe. Kulama project amaningi engazi ngawabalisa ngayinye kodwa amanye siwabonile lakhonapha kuma video ukhuluma akhona indawo zonke ama province wonke. Siyafisa baba ukuthi uNkulunkulu uyakuphathisa kunye nohulumende wakho ukuze wafeze wonke aphele.
Leader of returnees in Bulawayo, Comrade Dube, also thanked the party for welcoming them back into the fold.
KHE also represent many more who are reaching out to this program and keen to join the People's Party, ZANU-PF. It is with no doubt, Your Excellency, that there's a lot good that these people see in ZANU-PF and in your leadership.
The Communist Party of China, in a message read by the ZANU-PF national chairperson, Comrade Opamuchinguri Kashiri, also wished ZANU-PF prosperity.
The CPC applauds the ZANU-PF for actively exploring a development path suited to Zimbabwe's national conditions and for making big strides in building and developing the nation.
The 21st ZANU-PF National People's Conference is being held under the theme Industrialize and Modernize towards the attainment of Vision 2030. Olin Ndori, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
And that's it from myself, Marilyn Kwenya, and the Montrose crew for tonight. We now hand over to the team at Pocket Hill Studios in Harare. I see Vicky and Joyce are on standby. Ladies, it's over to you.
Many thanks to you, Marilyn. And, you know, Joy, when we talk about these illegal sanctions and we're looking at Zimbabwe, it's not only affecting the Zimbabwean business, but it's so sad that it's also affecting the ordinary Zimbabwean. But it's good, you know, to see people rallying together, coming together and working together to ensure that these illegal sanctions are removed.
Indeed, Vicky. And not only does it affect our nation, Zimbabwe, it also goes beyond our country's borders. As we saw today, the rest of SADC standing in solidarity with the country in the fight against the illegal sanctions imposed on the country.
Now let's shift our focus and take a look at what's happening in the aviation sector. The Airports Company of Zimbabwe has announced plans to develop special economic zones around major airports in the country.
The ACZ will be starting with the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport in Harare. Let's get more.
The strategic move aims to stimulate economic growth, attract foreign investment, and enhance Zimbabwe's position as a regional trade hub. The Airports Company of Zimbabwe has since submitted plans to relevant authorities for approval, with works expected to begin next year.
Our intention being to promote the development of logistics parks so that there is a movement of goods in and out of the country through that special economic zone. We want to promote the development of cargo. We want people to use air cargo.
Engagements with airliners are also underway for them to take up the space at the special economic zones.
We've already started approaching airlines to develop more cargo, to bring in more freighters, that is cargo planes that will then be taking the cargo out of the country and bringing the cargo into the country. In line with the developments that we envisage around the airport.
Facilities to be set up include cargo villages, aero cities with auxiliary services such as hotels, shopping malls and theme parks. The special economic zone will offer a range of incentives and benefits to businesses, including tax breaks, streamlined custom procedures and access to world-class infrastructure. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Wobi Lupane Irrigation Scheme is expanding its shareholding to bring in more farmers while also increasing the hectarage for production this season.
The 180 hectares irrigation scheme will add a further 360 hectares while also bringing in 180 households as shareholders. The scheme, which has become a national template of successful irrigation, continues to receive direct support from government through the Agricultural Rural Development Authority, ADAM.
The expansion here 360, 180 hectares. Ngale ku expansion here 360 hectares. Skangele kubale 180 beneficiaries or shareholders.
The scheme is also employing other revenue generation methods through value addition and market gardening.
Sile with stoffer. Salungisa ama-bales. Awutshani bewheat. Siyathengisa nje bale manje i-tractor labi iphuma lawo. So indlela esirayisa ngayo imali. Yesinceda ukuthi sithi akhiphe ama-farmers. But ngesikhathi bengakatholi imali.
Le irrigation scheme siyambonga umongameli ngoba itshintshile impilo zabantu beLupane
kwakuthwele upane kukomnyamubambira akulanto emilayo akulanto engavunwa but iminyaka yonke siyavuna iwheat iminyaka yonke siyavuna umumbu iminyaka yonke kuyavunwa amakhabeji kuyavunwa amatamatisi ukuthuthukisa impilo zabantu belupane.
Government's Rural Development Trust is paying huge dividends in Matabeleland North Province through the Bubi Lupane Irrigation Scheme, contributing to national food security and attainment of an upper middle income society.
Over 350,000 tons of wheat have been harvested so far this season, as government calls on farmers to wind up wheat harvesting before the rainy season.
Harvesting of wheat have intensified with the AFC Mechanization Department deploying 56 combine harvesters across the country to assist farmers to clear the cereal crop before the onset of the rains.
Nindri mumwe operator macombines AFC tikumhanyidzana nokurova kuti tiri kuvavarira kuti timhanye nebasa redu isisu mbeu dzedu dzisati dzanaiwa.
Tiri kumhanya nepurogiramu yeAFC tichikowa gorosi kunoku tiri kuAxturus tiri kuteera mese mune gorosi raoma tichimhanyisana nemvura yedu yedenga.
Our government has called on farmers to wind up their wheat harvesting before the rain season.
The rains are almost upon us, so we encourage farmers, wheat farmers, to harvest their wheat this week up to the weekend.
With over 350,000 metric tons of wheat having been harvested so far, the country is on track to achieve the 600,000 metric tons targeted for this season. Tendai Munengwa, ZBC News in Mashonaland East Province.
You're watching the main news. Remember, these and more stories are available on our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw. And as usual, we take this opportunity to acknowledge our viewers who are watching us through our Facebook page. We are ZBC News Online. You can also link up with us on other social media platforms. We are also ZBC News Online.
Let's take a look now at stories still to come in the bulletin later on in business. Harare exhausts its allocated capacity for the Starlink satellite internet service.
And in sport, the Warriors Technical Department assembles a young squad to take part in the CHAN qualifiers. Do stay with us for these and more stories in greater detail after this break.
Buy any 2-liter bottle of Pepsi, 7-Up, Mirinda, or Mountain Dew. Peel off the label and follow the instructions under the label to win your instant Econet talk time or SMS.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
The Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Dr. Ensias Jongwe Masuka, Deputy Ministers, Honorable Vangelis Haritatos and Honorable Davis Marapira, Permanent Secretary, Professor Dr. Obet Jiri, Chief Directors, Heads of Parastatals, the entire Ministry and Parastatal staff, join the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, and the nation at large in commemorating this year's Anti-Sanctions Day. As a ministry, we stand in solidarity with SADC and join all the people of Africa and across the world in condemning the illegal sanctions imposed on our country. These sanctions have not only affected the socio-economic development of Zimbabwe, but the entire Southern Africa region. In spite of the malicious sanctions, we forge ahead unhindered to ensure food security and sovereignty for the country. We add our voice in clamoring for the unconditional removal of the illegal sanctions. In line with National Development Strategy 1, we look forward to ensuring food security everywhere and every day.
The Minister of Transport and Infrastructural Development, Honorable F.T. Mona, Deputy Minister, Honorable J.K. Sako, Permanent Secretary, Engineer J.P. Makumbe, management and staff join His Excellency, President E.D. Mnangagwa and the nation in demanding the immediate lifting of unlawful sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe. Every October 25, Zimbabwe stands in solidarity with fellow SADC member states in calling on the international community to unconditionally remove these detrimental sanctions. Despite facing numerous challenges, the ministry has made significant strides in infrastructural development under President Mnangagwa's visionary leadership. However, sanctions continue to hinder progress, severely impacting the transport sector by restricting access to international financing. We commend President Mnangagwa's unwavering commitment to ensuring that the infrastructural sector continues to prosper, accomplishing several milestones guaranteeing that Zimbabwe achieves Vision 2030 of attaining an upper middle income status. Collectively, let us advocate for a sanction-free Zimbabwe, promoting economic prosperity and regional cooperation.
Guys, are you looking for drinks? There's no on that side.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
EcoCash gives you more. EcoCash points are our way of saying thank you for being a loyal customer. You earn points every time you use EcoCash to send money, make payments, buy airtime, or cash out. These points accumulate and can be redeemed for voice airtime, data, or SMS. You can start redeeming your points once you reach 100 points, and redemption is in multiples of hundreds. To redeem or check points balance, dial *151 *7 hash today. Terms and conditions apply. EcoCash gives you more.
Welcome back to the main news. The school owner who allegedly swindled more than 30 ordinary level students in Eastview, Harare, has appeared in court after converting their examination fees for personal use.
Findale Academy owner Rutendo Zivanai was remanded in custody for bail ruling this Friday when he initially appeared at the Harare Magistrates Court on Thursday. It is the state's case that sometime in March this year, Zivanai collected exam fees from 34 ordinary level students on the pretext that he would register them at a ZIMSEC examination center, but allegedly converted the funds to personal use. The matter came to light on the 14th of this month when the victims discovered that they had not been registered when they were turned away on the first day of the ordinary level exams. The court held that the victims suffered a prejudice of over 6,000 United States dollars. The students have since been rescued by President Emmerson Mnangagwa after the head of state paid examination fees for all affected learners and allowed them to sit for the remaining exams. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
A government has underscored Zimbabwe's commitment to biodiversity conservation and sustainable development as the country participates at the 16th Conference of Parties COP16 to the Convention on Biological Diversity in Cali, Colombia.
The Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD, which kicked off this Monday and runs until Friday next week in Cali, Colombia, has brought together over 190 countries to finalize outstanding issues from COP15. The issues are related to the Kunming-Monroe Global Biodiversity Framework, which seeks to hold and reverse biodiversity loss by 2030 and achieve a nature-positive world by 2050. Zimbabwe, as a party to the United United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD, has made significant strides in safeguarding its rich biodiversity, recognizing of the critical role it plays in supporting human well-being and economic development.
We have the responsibility of stewarding the resources, especially biodiversity resources, and ensure that we have balanced ecosystems, we have mechanisms to fight species extinction.
Ambassador Shifamba further highlighted the ministry's ongoing work on developing a comprehensive National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, NBSAP, a document which will outline specific goals and targets for biodiversity conservation in Zimbabwe.
We are also doing a lot in terms of aligning that our NB subs to the regional as well as continental, that is at the SADC as well as at the Africa group level. And what is critical for us is that we have started the process of broad national consultation, which takes an all-of-government approach, all-of-society approach to ensure that we build or we come up with targets, in conformity with our obligations under the global biodiversity framework.
The COP16 delegation from Zimbabwe is championing negotiations on sustainable wildlife management, resource mobilization, and financial modeling for conservation efforts.
Goat breeding is witnessing significant transformation in the country, with focus on improving breeds and the national herd.
Goat breeders have gathered in Harare for a 3-day indaba, focusing on improving the current goat population, which stands at around 5 million.
The goat industry is one of the key critical component of livestock production in this country. Why? Because a lot of the goats are in the smallholder sector. In fact, about 70%. At the same time, 60-70% of farmers are in the smallholder sector. This is why it is so important to commercialize.
As most farmers across the country are increasingly turning to goat breeding as a sustainable solution to livestock challenges, emphasis was on ensuring genetic diversity.
Our local breeds, bred correctly, are actually very good breeds. Take, for example, the Matebele breed. It's a big framed animal, and it's one that we need to look after. We need to conserve, we need to nurture it. Then we can move on to talk about exotic breeds such as the Kalahari Red, the Savannah, the Boa, to use these animals, the bucks, with our female local indigenous goats in order to improve the carcass weight.
Farmers are also sharing insights in breeding techniques, best practices in goat husbandry, and artificial insemination technology.
We'll find space and scope for introduction of artificial insemination. The economic values, economic benefits for artificial insemination. We do hope that at the end of the discussion, I think that will find space with farmers. Hopefully we can then reduce the breeding costs or the farmer costs.
Farmers were also challenged to explore the goat export market, which presents lucrative business opportunities. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Women have been encouraged to take advantage of the human papilloma vaccine to protect themselves and their children against cervical cancer.
This comes at a time cervical cancer has emerged as one of the leading causes of cancer deaths among Zimbabwean women.
A recent study by the Mutala Trust has shed light on the alarming lack of awareness surrounding the human papillomavirus, HPV, and its link to cervical cancer. Mutala Trust Director Professor Tariro Mukadzange stressed the importance of vaccines in preventing chronic diseases.
HPV is a virus that many of us get. It's a common virus. We get it when people start to become sexually active, is when they get exposed to it. And that's why our ministry and health officials globally recommend vaccination as early as possible before people get it. And once you get it, some people clear the infection, but some people don't. And those that don't, over time, go on to develop cervical cancer.
Cervical cancer is one of the few cancers that can be prevented through vaccination. The HPV vaccine recommended for girls aged 9 to 14 before sexual activity begins has been proven safe and effective. Administered in 2 to 3 doses, this vaccine provides lifelong protection against cervical cancer. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
Let's take a short breather. Join us when we return.
Join us for the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation's annual golf tournament on November 8, 2024 at the Royal Harare Golf Course. This event celebrates partnerships and excellence, offering a day of great golf and valuable networking. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or a novice, this is your chance to showcase your skills and have fun. Don't miss out. Mark your calendars. For sponsorship opportunities and bookings, don't hesitate to get in touch with Claris on 0712-842-138. See you on the greens.
College life, freedom, friends, fun, until your stomach starts rumbling in the middle of a lecture because you are hungry and your classmates laugh. Meet Tinashe, a first-year student at college with an ever-grumbling stomach. Unable to cook proper meals, he was always thinking of his mom's cooking. Every time he tries to cook, everything goes up in flames.
His mom's words echoed in his head.
Tinashe, learn to cook. You'll starve in college.
Why don't you use EcoChat AI? A concerned friend advised him.
So he whipped out his phone and visited www.ecochatai.co.zw on his smartphone and got easy-to-cook recipes and tips.
In no time, he could cook a meal. Yes, sadza this time around.
Thanks to EcoChat AI. Visit www.ecochatai.co.zw
or dial *449# to get started. Ask questions and get answers in no time. EcoChat AI is a generative AI technology, a first in Africa. It responds in seconds with text-based answers like human responses. EcoChat AI features include multiple question and answer exchanges, content summarization, language translation, PDF queries, and more. Whatever the situation, whatever you need to know, EcoChat AI is brains on speed dial. Explore, learn, achieve, and rise with EcoChat AI today. EcoChat AI, brains on speed dial.
Powered by Cassava AI. Econet Wireless, inspired to change.
Stuck on you. Ooh, obsessed with you. I'm obsessed.
With Showmax, your favorite characters now follow you anywhere. Download it today and watch the best in local, international, and everything in between.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching the main news. In a bid to combat the surge in cases of breast cancer, the University of Zimbabwe has joined the breast cancer awareness campaign, emphasizing the critical role of early detection in saving lives.
The University of Zimbabwe launched a breast cancer awareness campaign this Friday, offering free screening to promote early detection and prevention, which ultimately reduces treatment costs. Students gave credit to the university for the proactive initiative, emphasizing the critical need for regular breast cancer screening.
I've learned that there are some misconceptions regarding breast cancer, and as a youth, some of us, we don't even know what breast cancer is. And today I've learned that if you notice some lumps on your breast, it actually means maybe you do have breast cancer.
Breast cancer does not only affect women, but also as men, we are affected by cancer. So we should keep on, being advocates to change the lives of people that are suffering from cancer.
The most important thing I've learned from this breast cancer campaign is that awareness is very important.
Today I learned that the earlier breast cancer is detected,
the higher chances for it to be treated.
University of Zimbabwe Health Service Director Dr. Enoch Maida stressed the critical role of early breast cancer detection in improving survival chances and reducing treatment complications.
It's quite important for people to be aware and alert that breast cancer and cancer in general, if there is early detection, it can actually be managed, treated and cured. So it's very important that we make students aware and even staff members here at the University of Zimbabwe.
According to the World Health Organization, WHO, early detection reduces the need for invasive treatments by 50%. Rwarachi Mariga, ZBC News, Harare.
And now look at business. Harare has exhausted its allocated capacity for the Starlink satellite internet service, with new kit registrations having been paused until further notice. Owen Mandova takes up that report.
Less than 2 months after the launch of the Starlink satellite internet service in Zimbabwe, new kits cannot be registered at the moment, with prospective subscribers having to wait until additional capacity is allocated. Information technology specialist Mr. Tichaona Mushambadope says the frenzy created by low internet charges caused the fast-paced uptake of the service, with Harare becoming the 5th city in Africa to reach its limit.
From an infrastructure perspective is, I think maybe just taking 2 steps backwards, we need to understand that Starlink connectivity by and large is geologged. So Harare specifically has reached full capacity, but other cities within or rural settings within the country have not yet reached capacity. So what it means from an implementation perspective is outside in some of the places where there's hard to reach, difficult connectivity, Starlink can still be implemented.
A local firm providing Starlink services acknowledged the prevailing situation.
There's been more demand than supply, and there's an oversubscription in Harare and surrounding areas. So people can no longer buy Starlink kits and internet services for kids in and around Harare.
A Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, POTRA's Director General Dr. Gift Machengete clarified that the limit set by Starlink comes with restrictions.
Each cell is actually served by a beam with a pre-defined number of radio frequency channels. So there is a limit to the number of active terminals that the beam can handle at any given time. The one I call the H5 has got a bigger radius, and this is what is normally used in the rural areas, while the H6 configuration with a smaller radius is used for densely populated urban or suburban areas.
Government officially gave the nod to Starlink internet services 2 months ago after the successful registration of the SpaceX on the satellite internet provider, which has transformed the local telecommunications landscape through lower internet costs. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
And that's our look at business news. Taking us straight to the arts. An anti-sanctions gala is underway at Habane Stadium in Umzingwane, where various artists are performing. We now link up with our reporter, Providence Maranelli, to give us more details. It's a very good evening to you, Providence.
Good evening, Zimbabwe. Thank you. We are coming to you live from Habane Stadium in Esigodini, Umzingwane district. This is the venue for this year's Anti-sanctions gala. This is a music concert organized by the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services as a solidarity platform to call for the removal of the illegal sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe by the West and its allies. To put it in perspective, we are joined here by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Mr. Nick Mangwana. Say, can you take us through tonight's program?
Well, as you know that from 2019, when we started commemorating the Anti-Sanctions Day, on the 25th of October, music has been part of it. The idea is that we want to capture the imagination of the nation to make sure that in every place people know that Zimbabwe is under the yoke of sanctions. We've got an albatross on our neck, a millstone, which is hindering us from progressing. But we are still progressing regardless. Zimbabweans are a defiant people. We are resilient people. So that's the message we wanted to bring here. And when President Mnangagwa came into power, devolution became higher on the agenda. So you see that every time we go to different places to bring whatever government programs to the people, even though the anti-sanctions commemorations themselves, which were very brilliant, I think you noticed in Bulawayo, they happened there at the City Hall, but we decided that no, let's go to other people so that we leave no one behind. So the party we have its gala in Bulawayo, but we decided to take this one to Esgodini. And I think people are appreciating because I can see a lot of people trickling in, coming in large numbers. And the lineup itself reflects the devolution agenda because the lineup is pretty much based on Mat South, Mat North, and Bulawayo. Just a few people from Harare, Mashingo, Shishawane, and Chipinge. So the nature of the concert itself is a national complexion, but appreciating that the people on the ground want to connect with their musicians. That's why you hear that sound, lovely sound from this area.
We had it, let's converge and call for the removal of the illegal sanctions that have been imposed on our beautiful country, Zimbabwe. Thank you. It's back to you in the studio.
Veteran playwright, novelist, and actor Aaron Chundra Moyo is one of the standout names in Zimbabwe's entertainment industry, who boasts of a remarkable career spanning over 4 decades. Despite the passage of time, Moyo remains vibrant and committed to his craft.
In an exclusive interview with ZBC News in Harare this Tuesday, renowned playwright, novelist, and actor Aaron Chundra Moyo took a nostalgic trip down memory lane. He reflected on his illustrious career, which birthed iconic drama series like Tiripa Rwendo, Maduna Mtuna, and Chioko Muhomwe. His craft is not without inspiration, as the legendary playwright credited pioneers like Remias Msasa and Arnold Shoko for his entry into the industry.
Panguwa ya mukadota program yake yakanga iri sponsored nekambani yakanga ichisponsor. Vachishanda nezBC. Mukadota yaibuda apa yaibuda ichirohwa nokuti aita wacho akanga ari gamba mukugona basa rake vasavhiriwe matsikatire. Zvakaita kuti vakawanda vakaita osesu tide kutevedzera pamukadota tichiuya. Ini ndakazopinda panguva yavaramias Msasa. ZBC pachayo yakanga ina maproducer vamadrama vakati kuti kwakuna vaMsasa, vaShoko, vaJohn Raninga vatauri vakazinga vavashefu vabva kuna mukadota yacho iripo panga panana vana Mandimika navamwe vavambe navamwe vakadaro. Saka pachavo vega ava vanhu vamadrama vaidika madrama kuZTV vakanga vaikwikwidzaana.
Just like other nations, Chundra Moyo believes Zimbabwe's entertainment industry should showcase its own unique narrative.
Pane vatakudza, ndine mwana ari kumutsoka dzangu ari kuita akadaro anonzi Tatenda. Zvimwe zvacho akutondikurira achinda akadaro. Kwozoita vandiri kungoona vazere munyika, muzere vanogona.
Having groomed his son to carry on his legacy, he emphasizes the vast economic potential of the entertainment industry. Chundra Moyo's impressive portfolio includes a string of hit dramas, notably Ziva Kwakabva, Ndabva Zera, Pedyo Kure, Zviri Mudendere, Zeve Zeve, Masimba, and Studio 263, which dominated TV screens and cemented his reputation as trailblazer in the broadcasting industry. Tafadz Gwachkwedere, ZBC News, Harare.
We will continue to celebrate the legend Aaron Chundra Moyo. We'll now take a break. When we return, we join Anna Shimrombedzi in the Sports Corner. Stay with us.
The Minister of
welcome to the Sports Corner. Anna Shamrombed's here with the latest in the world of sport. Now, Caps United speedy winger Junior Bunjira is relishing the prospect of donning the senior national team jersey for the first time when the Warriors take on Eswatini in an African Nations Championship CHAN qualifier in Botswana this Sunday.
The Warriors Technical Department assembled a young squad to take part in the CHAN qualifiers, which kick off this Sunday. One of the young players is Junior Bunjira, who has had a breakthrough season at Caps United, who is following in the footsteps of his father and Caps United legend Alois Bunjira.
I feel excited, everyone feels excited, and it's been going well. I've played with the few of the younger guys. We played academy football together. We played for different teams together, so with them it's okay, but it feels good training with the older guys, gaining experience from them, learning from them, and it's been going well.
Whereas assistant coach Atikshua Churagu is taking charge of the team during the CHAN qualifiers, is banking on senior players to guide the young team.
We have seen the hunger in these youngsters, and with the help of the senior guys that we have, Donovan, Murwira, Obreo, I think it's Brian Banda. It's giving a lot of depth in the team in terms of guidance. And then from the youngsters, you see there's a lot of energy in them.
The Warriors are late for Francistown this Saturday morning. The winner of the two-legged tie will face Madagascar in the final qualifying round, with the Islanders having a bye in the first round. The rescheduled 2024 African Nations Championship will run from the 1st to the 20th of February next year and will be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. The CHAN tournament is reserved for local players who play in their domestic leagues on the African continent. Lawrence Tusira, ZBC News, Harare.
A smash and grab in the Central and Northern Region Division 1 leagues as the race for promotion to the top flight goes to the wire.
In the Northern Region, the battle for supremacy has narrowed down to an intriguing two-horse race between Moors and Scotland. Moors lead the pack with 76 points, while Scotland are a point behind as they wait for the determination of their abandoned match against Mangura. Moors dropped 2 critical points during midweek after a 0-0 draw with Black Mambas. That stumble allowed Scotland to close the gap to just a point after thrashing DZ Royal Stars 5-1. There is no time to rest for the two clubs as Moors face CC Lee Mangura this Saturday, while Scotland take on Harare City. With 3 games to go, the margin for error is minimum. In the Central Region, Kwekwe United and Tongogara have emerged as the top contenders for promotion. Kwekwe United effectively eliminated Chapungu from the race with a convincing 2-0 victory. The win gave Kwekwe United a 3-point lead over Tongogara. Kwekwe United's remaining fixtures include a home game with Gokwe North this Saturday before away fixtures to Black Eagles and FC Platinum Under-19. Tongogara's last 4 matches are against ZRP Gwanda at home this Saturday before playing Wangu Mazodze City away, Shisham at home and Baitbridge away. Tongogara have, however, played a game less than Kwekwe United. In the Southern Region, ZPC Wange have a chance to seal promotions this weekend if they pick up maximum points against Indlovu Eanyatela and Casman fail to beat a Zebra Revolution.
Last season's finalists and Ngezi Platinum Stars are determined to win at the Chibugu Super Cup this season.
The boys are in the same final, and that on its own is motivating them to play with a positive mind to win and progress to the finals. The target that they reached last year and that they just failed to win. So this time they are motivated and playing against Simba. It's a big motivation for the team. They have to show their class. They have to perform well because Simba have been doing well also in the league. But they better Cup Kings than Simba because they once won the Chibugu Super Cup when they got promoted into the Premiership. So the preparation generally is good and the mood is good looking into Simba's game.
Weather report and forecast is up next.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome once again to this weather report and forecast. We had a bit of moisture for much of this week, which led to isolated thunder showers. But by today, they had drifted off into the eastern highlands, where we had about 44 millimeters in Nyanga. But there's much of the day was mostly sunny and hot, with just remnant pockets of moisture giving us odd showers in places. And as we look at tomorrow, we're expecting mostly sunny skies across much of the country as this cloud system fades away, giving us clear skies in the morning. But by afternoon, we're expecting a return of those thunder weather over the western parts in areas such as Matabeleland North into Matabeleland South. Later on in the week, we're expecting the cloud to drift into the interior, giving us also isolated thunder showers over much of the country. And as such, today overnight, we're expecting mild conditions across much of the country. Should be humid and hot for much of tomorrow, with thunder weather over these western areas. And as such, for Bulawayo, we're expecting thunder weather, especially around Monday and Tuesday. Same for Matopo, but earlier on Saturday, we were expecting moisture to drift in. And same for Gwanda, we're expecting a bit of thunder weather as we get into much of the week around Tuesday as well as on Thursday. More concentrated over the north, with Lupane under cloudy conditions with thunder weather even on Monday. Same for Victoria Falls, as temperature drop up to 36 on Monday. Gweru in the interior also projecting a temperature drop around Monday into Tuesday. We're expecting thunder weather as well. Kwekwe also projecting the same, with thunder weather around Tuesday into Wednesday, as well as Kadoma, where we're expecting a temperature drop on Tuesday. And for Chinhoyi, we're expecting that temperature drop also on Tuesday, with thunder weather projected over that area under cloudy conditions. Same for Harare, with a temperature drop to up to 30 degrees Celsius. And for Karibu, we're expecting just a bit of thunder weather here and there, but it shouldn't give us much. Masvingo also projecting the same around Monday and to Tuesday. We're expecting a slight decline in temperatures. Bindura also under thunder weather around Monday into Tuesday. Marondera also projecting the same, but a bit of sunny breaks here and there. And for Nyanga, we're expecting a bit of sunshine into the weekend, but it gets thundery towards the end. That's it from the weather desk. I'm James Goma Jr. for the Met Department.
The weather report and forecast courtesy of the Met Department, and we are done for the week. It's been so good to have you the entire week. Joy, we are done?
We are done for this week. Thank you for having joined us from all of us here. It's good night.
Good night.